Part 90. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 891. Fang Fan shrugged, people die like lights go out. This Xingluo Academy's chief true heir, Qian Hao, was a figurehead anyway, but he didn't expect to end up like this now. This group of people said a sentence. In fact, the meaning of the expression is very obvious. I want to take the blame, find Qian Hao, the dead ghost, and then we can get rid of the crime. If things in this world were so simple, there would not be so many disputes. Actually, I have no grievances with you at all. Even, and everyone from the Shengtian Alliance and Xingluo Academy, they all belong to the same faction. To be honest, if it's not necessary, I don't want to have a grudge with you. As you know, I have one advantage, that is, I have a good heart. I don't care, but, I have to give these brothers under our hands an explanation, right? They follow me through life and death, and they can't ignore it and just abandon it? So am I still a person? Look at what it's been hurt. Fang Fan directly pulled Bai Biao over, and then slashed Bai Biao with his iron sword a few times. Look at you, now you've been chopped to the point where you can't even feel it. This is a huge trauma to my heart. And these wounds are all caused by you. Don't you think you should be responsible? He's just one example. Hey, it's so pitiful. My brother, the wounded, the disabled. Even if I want to let you go, they are not happy. Fang Fan shrugged, acting, he must act properly. Shang Guantian, Sidujan, and others, look at me, I look at you, their faces are speechless. What's the matter? It's really like that. But the fact is that most of the practitioners of our major forces were beheaded, and your subordinates, let alone dead, even if they were injured, few. We haven't even cried yet. You gotta dress up first. Palace Master Fang Fan, we all understand what you mean. In this way, on behalf of the Holy Sky Alliance, I would like to take out tens of billions of divine crystals. I hope I can compensate you brothers. The Holy Son of the Holy Heavenly Alliance, Shang Guantian, hurriedly came forward with a smile, thinking for a moment. My Demon Heaven Pavilion is also willing to take out 10 billion divine crystals. My power in chasing Soul Pavilion is small, but in order to compensate Palace Master Fang Fan, there are still tens of billions of divine crystals. My Starfall Academy is also willing to take out tens of billions of divine crystals. One by one, that's exactly what they said. Do you really think I'm being fooled? If you can't even see through this doorway, why are you still doing chicken feathers? 10 billion crystals? To send beggars? When the bounty was offered to me before, which one didn't start with trillions of divine crystals? Even, in order to get the divine vein, 10 trillion divine crystals, 1 trillion divine crystals are still willing to take it. 10 billion divine crystals. Hey! Who made my heart soft-hearted? You said that one person will pay 10 billion, then one person will pay 10 billion. Fang Fan, looks like I have suffered a lot. Everyone looked at each other, their eyes were stunned. Palace Master Fang Fan, are you mistaken? We're talking about tens of billions of divine crystals for everyone. It's not that one person makes tens of billions. The Holy Son of the Holy Heavenly Alliance, Shang Guantian, hurried forward and said. This matter, you have to figure it out, otherwise, who should you go to if something goes wrong? One person with tens of billions of people, like the 3,000 people in their Holy Heaven Alliance, doesn't they need 30 trillion divine crystals? Although he is the Holy Son of the Holy Heaven Alliance, he is not so arrogant. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 892. Previously, Fang Fan was offered a reward, tens of trillions and hundreds of trillions of divine crystals at every turn, which was based on the premise of being able to obtain divine veins. When the relics of the gods emerge, the forces behind them will pay for them. After all, the value of a divine vein is too high. What are tens of trillions, hundreds of trillions of divine crystals? But now if one person takes tens of billions of divine crystals alone, who can resist this kind of thing? Palace Master Fang Fan, please forgive us, let's lower the amount, we really don't have that many divine crystals. Gulin, the young master of the Chasing Soul Pavilion, also joined the crying poor array. Palace Master Fang Fan, how could a genius like you be really bewildered by some mundane god crystal? He must be joking with us, right? Ha ha ha. We already knew that. Sidujan, the devil child of Motion Pavilion, can still force an embarrassing smile. The meaning of these guys is already very obvious, they don't want to pay. So, do you have an opinion? You can tell me if you have any opinions, but my sword fell down at some point. Well, if it just falls on the arm and thigh, it's fine. At most, the arm and the leg are missing, but if it falls on the neck. Fang Fan's mouth showed a hint of helplessness, and then he casually gestured twice. The faces of the few people in front of them instantly turned black. This living hell can do anything. The chief true inheritance of Starfall Academy has cooled down, this is a lesson from the past. 10 billion, we're out? Recognize it? Recognize it all. Shang Guantian, Sidu Zhan and others have a bitter look on their faces, life is too difficult. They can only choose to suffer silently. This day, can't be over. No pressure, right? The number, not much. If you are under pressure, you must tell me. It's like I'm forcing you. It's not good. I've always been a more democratic person, and it's good to have opinions. Fang Fan said something serious, just talking and waving the long sword in his hand. Such an obvious threat. Who dares to say anything? We don't have any opinions. Everything is based on the orders of Hall Master Fang Fan. Gritting his teeth and swallowing in his stomach, that's probably what it feels like. Well, that's good. That's it? Cultivators of the four major forces, one person has tens of billions of divine crystals. As for the few of you, as the heads of the major forces, it is not difficult to take out 1,000,000 billions of divine crystals, right? Fang Fan continued with a smile. What? A trillion? This is impossible. That's too much. Unless we kill us, where are we going to find so many divine crystals? Even if we kill us, we don't have so many divine crystals. Bottom line. This is our bottom line. We demand democracy. Why are other cultivators all tens of billions of divine crystals, and they become trillions of billions when they come to us? This is not fair. The crowd exploded directly. Including the demon son of Motion Pavilion and the son of Holy Heaven Alliance, they all defended with excitement. My soul-chasing pavilion is just an 8th rank power, and it's far from the 7th rank power. Palace Master Fang Fan, the trillions of divine crystals may only hurt their 7th rank power, but they can still take it. Come out, but for our soul-chasing pavilion, that is simply a disaster. To put it bluntly, even if you sold our entire soul-chasing pavilion today, you can't make up this number. Gulin, the young master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, said it was a miserable. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 893. The mode of crying poor, basically the same. It's just that the master of the ancient forest Sheoj from Chasing Soul Pavilion looks even more bizarre. Is it? If I'm not mistaken, this armor of yours should be a 1-star Imperial artifact. Fang Fan's face showed a sneering look, you are not qualified to play a big sword in front of Guangong. A 1-star Imperial artifact, what's the matter, can you sell tens of trillions of divine crystals? Fang Fan licked his lips and looked directly at Gu Lin. Play this tricky with him, and don't look at your own level. Gu Lin's expression changed, and he didn't expect to be dismantled directly. Who can stand it? Face slap? However, the young pavilion master of Chasing Soul Pavilion is obviously unwilling to give in, and he feels that he can still save a wave with all his strength. Palace Master Fang Fan, you really got it wrong. What kind of imperial artifact I am? It's just contaminated with the breath of some imperial artifact. In fact, it is an ordinary real king artifact. I don't know what kind of money. Gu Lin clutched his armor and took a few steps back with a frightened expression. Glimpse. True king artifact, is that so? The general price of a true king artifact is 10,000 divine crystals. How about I exchange 20,000 divine crystals with you? You can make a lot of money here. Fang Fan stepped forward and patted Gu Lin on the shoulder. The metaphor means, Cao Nian, don't play with me like this. Ha, this armor is worthless, but it was given to me by my father on my 18th birthday. It has a very special meaning. Gu Lin clenched his teeth and refused to let go. Fang Fan. Really so speechless to the extreme. Why are there so many plays? Can you be honest? Oh. Look at what you mean, seems to have a lot of opinions on me. What? You don't want to compensate my brothers for mental damage? Look down on my brothers. That means look down on me. If that's the case, then kill them all. I just need to give an order, and the ghost claw will directly take you away. I just think that everyone's cultivation is not easy, and I don't want to waste your lives like this. But if you have this attitude, then I can only start killing people. After all, it's hard to be a good person. Fang Fan had a side look on his face. In fact, the thought in my heart is, if you don't kill you, it will directly collapse your portable space and make me lose a lot of money. I've already started it, and I'm still chatting with you here. In order to maximize the benefits, Fang Fan at this moment can only develop a wave of wretchedness. Hearing Fang Fan's words, everyone panicked again. What's so special? Divine crystal is easy to get, but life is hard to find. This Fang Fan couldn't figure out his temper and lifeline at all. If he really gave them a sword, where would they go to reason? Palace Master Fang Fan, we can take out all the divine crystals on our body to honor you, but the number of divine crystals is really not enough. Situjan, the devil son of Motion Pavilion, took a deep breath, his face full of sadness. As a generation of demons, in Motion Pavilion, one person is always below 10,000 people, who would dare to be so rude to him. Even those gods and demons have to give 3 points in front of him. Today, I have suffered such oppression and humiliation, and I feel uneasy from the bottom of my heart. But even if it is not calm, at this moment, I can only endure it silently. The road of life is too hard. There are not enough divine crystals, then use the treasures on your body to make up the number. For example, this imperial armor on this ancient forest Shaoj master. Fang Fan raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said indifferently. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 894. The imperial armor is more valuable than ordinary imperial weapons, although it is only the hottest 1-star imperial armor, and selling it for 20 trillion divine crystals is like playing. Everyone looked at each other with a look of helplessness, but in front of Fang Fan, would they dare to say the word no? At this moment, there is a high probability that you can only choose to compromise. This day, just don't be too sad. So humble. Palace Master Fang Fan, this piece of mine is a top-quality true king artifact. If it is sold well, it will be worth at least 3 trillion divine crystals. Okay. No problem. I have received the 300 billion divine crystals. Xiao xiao. Yun yun, help with bookkeeping. Fang Fan waved his hand. If the original price of this thing was really worth the price, is it the original price now? Now it's obviously going to be discounted. Even if you go to an ordinary pawn shop, it is not bad to get half the discount. If it was darker, maybe 100 divine crystals would only give you one divine crystal. I can still give you 10% of the reserve price. Fang Fan sighed, he still can't be a profiteer after all. Just this kind of quality that is unwilling to deceive people, it is too rare. This authentic Azura cultivation technique is a top-secret cultivation technique I found from an ancient ruin. According to speculation, it should at least be the Emperor-level cultivation technique. Once it is successfully cultivated, it can even become an invincible Azura. What is it? 500 billion divine crystals. My CAO. Hall Master Fang Fan. This is the Emperor-level exercise. Even the most useless Emperor-level exercise is worth at least 10 trillion divine crystals. You are too pitiful. 500 billion divine crystals don't want to change. The 300 billion. Palace Master Fang Fan. 100 billion. Can I change it? Change. Fang Fan. This person, the inferiority is really too strong. Fang Fan pouted subconsciously, and secretly asked if there was something wrong with this guy's head. 500 billion is not exchanged, but 300 billion? Palace Master Fang Fan, this soul-chasing token is the secret treasure of my soul-chasing pavilion. As long as I hold the soul-chasing token, I can unconditionally pursue and kill a person in my soul-chasing pavilion. The value is extraordinary. Outside, every cultivator has a piece of chasing soul. Soul order is an honor. Just this broken brand. The material for making is okay, 100 million divine crystals, it's counted as a face for you. Fang Fan pouted, with a look of contempt. Big brother. This is a soul-chasing order. Even if you lower the price, you have to have a limit. Gulin, the young master of the Chasing Soul Pavilion, was instantly stunned. What kind of fairy price is this? You mean, don't want to exchange? So you don't want to raise a mental damage fee for these wounded brothers of mine? Fang Fan glanced at this guy, and it's now, how come he doesn't have any vision at all? What to do and what not to do, it's good to be clear in your heart. As for reminding me again and again? Change. Change. Change everything. Gulin sighed, people had to bow their heads under the eaves. Okay. Let's continue. Shang Guantiansheng, son of Shengtian Pavilion. My CAO. Why are you so poor? That's it? That's it? You're too embarrassed to call yourself a saint. Divine crystal is only 30 trillion. You don't even have an imperial weapon on your body. You're not as good as someone else's Gulin Shaoj master. And, what kind of thing is this? When I'm a collector of scrap metal. Okay. Let's count it by the caddy. One caddy counts as 100 divine crystals. And these, if you can't use this low-level martial arts skill, don't take it out. Don't you feel bad? Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 895. Fang Fan pouted and said speechlessly, these are all a bunch of poor ghosts. Too poor. These scraps of copper and iron on your body, plus your divine crystals, still can't make up 40 trillion divine crystals. What I want, but 1 million billion divine crystals. What the hell are you doing to fool me like that? Looking at you pretending to be 2,500,000 to 80,000 yuan, I thought you were rich. Fang Fan glanced at the Holy Son of the Holy Heaven Alliance, Shang Guantian with contempt, and said with emotion. Shang Guantian looked up at the sky, it was so hard for me. Is this my responsibility? If these treasures and equipment on me were fully configured, they would have exceeded 1 trillion divine crystals long ago. But your old valuation is too good. It really hurts. Well. Your arrears, are you going to settle it like this? Not enough divine crystals, I can't let people go. Otherwise, what do you leave behind? To pay off the debt. Fang Fan was sharpening his knife, looking like he was about to run over. Everyone took a deep breath, they looked at each other, and fear grew again. I thought that if I risked my life and ruined my entire net worth, I could still exchange for a full beard and full tail. But now it seems that this is also a kind of good expectation. Palace Master Fang Fan, or, give me some face? Let us be generous. We really don't have anything of value on us. If you like it, this underwear on our body, can be taken off for you. All we want is to live. Gulin, the young pavilion master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, sighed, and then looked at Fang Fan with a look of hope, hoping that Fang Fan would be able to show mercy. Hey, I'm still, too kind. Give me an IOU each. The monthly interest is 5 cents, which must be repaid within 1 year. Fang Fan pouted and said indifferently. Gulin's mouth twitched, 5 cents per month? Are you sure you're right? Palace Master Fang Fan, ES are fine, but your interest, isn't it too high? Gulin couldn't help complaining. In fact, at this time, he will focus on the interest, which shows that this guy actually still has the idea of repaying the money. On the contrary, the Shangguan Tianzhenzi from the Shengtian League and the demonic Sidhu Zanzi from the Motion Pavilion looked at each other and patted their chests and said it was no problem. This interest, it should be. That's right. Palace Master Fang Fan has already forgiven us once, and we should be grateful. This is natural, I am grateful from the bottom of my heart. Shang Guantian and Sidhu Zhan sang double reeds to each other. Fang Fan chuckled lightly and saw everything in his eyes, but didn't say much. After the high-interest ES were written, everyone felt a little impatient. Palace Master Fang Fan, we have done all this according to your wishes, so now you see if it is. Shang Guantian couldn't help but reminded. They feel unsafe for a single moment here. Must escape. Such an opportunity is too rare. No problem, since the mental damage has been compensated, then you can go now. Remember to return the divine crystal early. If I waited for me to come and ask for it in person, it might not be the price. Fang Fan chuckled, the threat in his words was obvious. It's all said and done. Yes, yes, yes. I promise, I will raise divine crystals when I turn around. I will not make it difficult for Hall Master Fang Fan. The Holy Son of the Holy Heavenly Alliance, Shang Guantian, nodded and bowed quickly, indicating that everything was completely clear. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 896. Now for them, the most important thing is to escape. As for other things, most likely can be ignored. After receiving Fang Fan's affirmative answer, the practitioners of the 4 major forces were boiling. Holy Sky Alliance practitioners, rush out with me. Speed up. Speed up. All cultivators of Motion Pavilion, don't delay. Move at full speed. Chasing Soul Pavilion. Starfall Academy. Too difficult. Finally saved a little life. This feeling of after a catastrophe is too real. The speed of everyone's running is getting faster and faster. From time to time, they will turn their heads and glance at Fang Fan. Seeing that Fang Fan really has no other actions, they are relieved, and then speed up again. Fang Fan, just let them go like this? I'm afraid I'll let the tiger go back to the mountain. Yun Yun sighed lightly, feeling rather melancholy. After all, the hatred between Fang Fan and the four major forces had been completely forged. What do you mean? Fang Fan glanced at Yun Yun and immediately asked. If possible, I think it would be better to kill them all. Yun Yun stared at Fang Fan, her beautiful eyes revealing a faint killing intent. Fang Fan took a breath, he didn't expect this woman to be poisonous. The most poisonous woman's heart, the ancients do not deceive me. He, kill them, in fact, we no longer have such conditions just now. They think they have a chance to survive, that's why they have been squeezed dry by me. But once you know that you will die, you will definitely fight for your life. And those ghost claws will never appear again. Fang Fan sighed, there are some things, you have to see the doorway inside clearly. Aren't you able to control those ghost claws? Is it all accidental? Yun Yun blinked, looking curious. I can't say a word or two. Probably because the Tower of Miracles has run out of energy, and the Nether Ghost Claw is the ultimate move activated by the energy of the Tower of Miracles. So if we continue to fight, we can only let Garen and the others go and do it. In the end, even if the practitioners of the four major forces are successfully killed, the losses must be very heavy. This is not what I want to see. Furthermore, if the practitioners of the four major forces are really wiped out, and when the ruins of the gods emerge, do you think we can still live? Fang Fan chuckled, I am afraid that even the Holy Emperor of the Holy Heaven Alliance will choose to kill him. After all, at that moment, Fang Fan will be the enemy of the entire Holy Heaven Alliance. After all, at this moment, I still have to stay in the Bright Camp for a while, and it is not good for each other to tear their faces like this. I never thought of this. It seems, I'm really not suitable to be a strategist. I prefer the thrill of going into battle to kill the enemy. Yun Yun shrugged and said helplessly. Speaking of which, when she was originally in the Yun clan, she led an army of 100,000 people. The cultivators of the four major forces running wildly are in a state of panic like a lost dog. It was not until they were at least 10 kilometers away from the Tower of Miracles that everyone took a breath. The nightmarish picture from before seems to still appear in front of me. They have gone through the death pursuit again and again, and at this moment they finally escaped with their lives, and the excitement in their hearts is too real. You guys, are you willing? We came to the ruins of the gods by stealing treasures, but what about now? If we didn't get the treasures, we just threw away our own homes. The Holy Son of the Holy Heavenly Alliance, Shangguantian, shouted fiercely. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 897. Grass. What can be done then? Who knew that a Fang demon would be killed halfway? He actually controlled the ghost claw of the Tower of Miracles. If we don't compromise, it will be a death. The master of Chasing Soul Pavilion looked gloomy, although he was also very unhappy, but as he said, this is already the best situation, compared with Xiaoming, these are nothing. Hey, at this moment, we can only admit that we are unlucky, don't we? What's the matter? Let's go back outside and let the forces outside us do it. I don't believe that we can't kill him. Sidujan, the devil son of Motion Pavilion, said fiercely that this time he suffered a huge loss, so naturally he didn't want to let it go. Let's go back outside. Demon Sidhu is really patient. Between you and me, Demon Sidhu, there's no need to cheat like this, right? You should know very well that after returning this time, based on our performance, our position in our respective forces will definitely plummet. To be honest, I think the law enforcement team of Motion Pavilion can directly shoot me to death. Sidhu Devil is so calm and confident. With the current bad deeds, it will not be so easy to clean up in the future. The Holy Son of the Holy Heaven Alliance, Shangguantian, sneered, his face even more contemptuous. He didn't know about being someone, he only knew that this time he was caught in a whirlpool. Although he is the Holy Son of the Holy Sky Alliance, it is still unknown whether the Holy Sky Alliance will reserve this position for him with such a performance. After all, he is not the only Holy Son in the Holy Heaven Alliance. If his ability is low, naturally more people will come up, and it's not a big deal. A pair of eyes are staring at it. Whenever he made a mistake, those vicious hands might be stretched out. Shang Guantian's remarks made everyone fall into silence. The meaning of the son of Shang Guan is. Sidujan, the devil child of Motion Pavilion, took a breath and asked subconsciously. Haha, I mean it very simply. Taking advantage of the current opportunity, we will guard the surrounding area. When Fang Mo arrives, with our thousands of troops, we will definitely be able to kill him in one fell swoop. What Fang Mo relies on isn't the ghostly claws of the Tower of Miracles. But here is 10 kilometers away from the Tower of Miracles, which is far beyond the control range of the Tower of Miracles. Without the help of the nether ghost claws of the Tower of Miracles, you don't think we can do it with our strength. Lose a Fang Fan. You must know that among the remaining 7,000 people, nearly 2,000 cultivators have been promoted to the 10-star king realm. Under the suppression of the rules of the Relic of the Gods, they can all exert their peak 9-star king level combat power. Haha. This Fang Mo has cleared the Tower of Miracles, but he has brought us 2 miracle blessings, and our cultivation base has skyrocketed. This time, you must not let him go. Kill him, 1 can take revenge, and 2 can take advantage of this opportunity to divide up his treasures. Before, I wasn't sure whether he had a divine vein on his body, but now, I have no doubts at all. The divine vein must be in him. There is a flush on the face of the Holy Son of the Holy Heaven Alliance, Shang Guantian. If he can really proceed according to his plan, he will gain a huge amount. At that time, the loss of soldiers will be regarded as a feather. If the divine vein can really be turned over to the Holy Heaven Alliance, then the position of the first Holy Son will be stable. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 898. Besides, Fang Fan has more than just divine veins. All kinds of imperial artifacts, they will be able to make a wave at that time. How can they sit back and watch such benefits? Being reminded by Shang Guantian, Sidujan, the devil child of Motion Pavilion, Gulin, the young master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, and the new leader of the Xingluo Academy all showed emotion. Indeed, in the current situation, they simply can't go back to communicate with each other. Instead, why not fight? What if Fang Mo was hiding around the Tower of Miracles and didn't come out? We wouldn't dare to go to the Tower of Miracles to find him. Sidujan, the demon son of Motion Pavilion, frowned, and then raised a possibility. Indeed, according to the current situation, normal people know that there will be an ambush. If so, will he come to die? Fang Mo is arrogant and arrogant, he never treats us as opponents at all. Besides, in the end, he always wants the ruins of a trance. There are still more than 10 days before the January deadline for the ruins of the gods. In these 10 days, as long as we control the opportunities well, we may not be able to counterattack and rise. As long as we can seize the moment, everything is possible. Shengtianga, the son of Shang Guantian, took a deep breath, and from his point of view, he was absolutely in favor of this matter. On the other hand, Gulin, the young pavilion master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, was a little hesitant. According to the previous battles between us and Fang Fan, I think, they can be as simple as they imagined. This is a person who can even control the ghost claw. What if he displays some strange means? We can prevent and control it. Can you stand it? At that time, once the situation changes, we will most likely be caught off guard. Gulin sighed inwardly, the light in his eyes flickered, So special, humble. Before, he was considered the number one ruthless man, but now that he has been taught a lesson, he dare not say more nonsense, it is too difficult. So what? Pavilion Master Gulin, do you want to quit? Shang Guantian sneered and looked at Gulin silently. Shang Guan, holy son, Sidhu demon son, your family has a great career, but we can't afford to play in the soul-chasing pavilion. I'd better give up. I think, I can't play Fang Fan. Gulin's face was full of bitterness. As a human being, you must be realistic. If you don't even know how to count yourself, what else would you do? Give up. Haha. Do you think it's too late to give up now? You already know our overall plan. If you really don't want to join us, then we can only kill the grass. The Holy Son of the Holy Heaven Alliance, Shang Guantian, showed a ruthless look on his face, and then looked coldly at Gulin, the young master of the Chasing Soul Pavilion. Holy Son of Shang Guan. What do you mean? I respect you for calling you Holy Son of Shang Guan, don't be ashamed. I am a force in the dark camp, you are not qualified to coerce me. Gulin snorted coldly, but at this time he seemed quite bold. Really? The forces of the dark camp? Then you can ask the demon Sidhu of Motion Pavilion, what is his attitude? Shang Guantian looked at Gulin with contempt, this guy is also a young master of an 8th rank power, how can he not even see this doorway? In all aspects, why do you know what you don't know? Gulin Shaoj Master, the son of Shang Guan, is also thinking of the overall situation. The big picture matters. Sidhu Zhan, the devil son of Motion Pavilion, reminded earnestly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 899. How could Gulin not see it? This is so clearly that the Alliance is putting pressure on him. Gulin's face changed several times, and finally, he chose to compromise. At this moment, the soul-chasing pavilion does not have the strength to fight against the two 7th rank forces. Rumbling. At this moment, the towering Tower of Miracles in the distance suddenly collapsed. Everyone was stunned. What's the situation? With the collapse of the Tower of Miracles, a huge defect appeared in the sky, as if the sky, something was damaged. The white clouds in the sky began to be crazy and thick, the blue sky was gradually replaced by black fog, and the high-hanging sun gradually began to shrink, and finally disappeared. Everything in front of me is happening between lightning and flint. Shang Guantian and the others were immediately stunned. I didn't expect that after the Spirit of Miracles was transferred from the Tower of Miracles to the Shushan Pavilion, the Tower of Miracles collapsed. Fang Fan muttered to himself, glanced at the collapsed Miracle Tower, and thought to himself. At the same time, he caught a glimpse of the incomplete sky, which was even more surprising. This Tower of Miracles should be the core that supports the entire relic of the gods. Now the energy of the Tower of Miracles is empty, and even the Spirit of Miracles has been taken away by me directly, so there is such a change. Thinking about it like this, it's understandable. It's just that the current ruins of the gods are considered a small world, or, have they been connected to the whole big world? Fang Fan glanced at the huge hole in the sky and fell into a brief thought. This issue remains to be discussed. However, according to the current situation, the latter is more likely. Outside the ruins of the gods, everyone from the light camp and the dark camp, who were originally stable, stood up in an instant, with strange expressions on their faces. God's contract was cancelled directly. Could it be that the darkness really wants to do something over there? They want to start a war ahead of time. Shengtian Ligue Sheng Huangziling took a breath, and there was a glint in his eyes. At this time, Any accident may lead to an instant collapse of the situation. Inspector Qin Hai, convene the troops of the Bright Camp, and prepare for war at any time. Don't relax. Zi Ling gave the order directly, and immediately flew into the air. The relic of the gods, how did you break a hole? Zi Ling took a breath, secretly wondering. At the same time, the forces of the dark camp around the ruins of the gods. God's contract was directly destroyed. Looks like something big happened. The soft bastards of the Bright Camp will definitely not dare to self-destruct the contract. After all, the current situation is in their favor. No. The relic of the gods seems to be collapsing. But it never collapsed. The relic of God has broken the space barrier. The energy inside has been poured out. Interesting, really interesting. Zhurong, come with me. Zhouji, the god and demon messenger of Motion Pavilion, waved his hand, and his eyes were brilliant. The current situation surprised him too much, and he felt that there might be some surprises. Weekly value. Purple Ling. Haha. Zhouji, I didn't expect you to actually break the contract of God. Aren't you afraid of the punishment of the true God? The Holy Emperor Xiling of the Holy Heaven Alliance showed a vigilant look on his face. In fact, she was also quite surprised. After all, the contract of God is not so easy to destroy. And once discovered by the gods, the divine punishment will be directly imposed, and the destroyer will immediately be wiped out. The price is too great. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 900. What is the contract of destroying the gods? This envoy is not so busy. Isn't it a little trick from your Shengtian League? Zhouji, the messenger of Demon Heaven Pavilion, was taken aback for a moment. If the Holy Heaven Alliance didn't know about it, the current situation would be a little weird. Could it be because the ruins of the gods were damaged, so the contract with the gods that was signed before was directly destroyed? Zhouji immediately began to speculate, thinking like this in his heart. The more and more he felt, that's it. Otherwise, there is no way to explain the doorway here. Zhouji can think of this joint, and Zi Ling is no exception. The two looked at each other, then glanced directly at the whole of the god's relic. It has been confirmed that there is the source of God's power in the ruins of God. The damage of the ruins of God at this moment is not necessarily a good opportunity. If you can control this opportunity, you may be able to win some of the source of God. Zi Ling squinted her eyes and thought to herself, and then stabbed her body directly and flew towards the damaged part of the ruins of the gods. The Zhou value on the other side was naturally not far behind, and he followed suit. At this moment, the ruins of the gods, because of the collapse of the Tower of Miracles, have been completely connected to the outside world, so naturally there is no so-called prohibition. Even a cultivator in the Sovereign Lord realm can easily fly here, which is obvious. Sure enough, there is the source of God. As soon as he entered the ruins of the gods, Zi Ling directly threw out the divine consciousness of the Emperor's master realm, and suddenly felt a breath of the source of the gods. Then Zi Ling no longer hesitated, and rushed directly. Swoosh swish. At this moment, Zhouji, the messenger of the devil from the Motion Pavilion, also arrived, and his eyes peeped directly at the source of the gods in front of him. Zhouji, do you dare to compete with this holy emperor for the source of the gods? Zi Ling snorted coldly. How could she not know Zhouji's thoughts? He, this source of God's power is not yours. Even if I stole it, what does it have to do with you? Zhouji sneered and stepped forward directly. Really? Are you sure? Just because of you, do you want to snatch the source of God from me? Zi Ling directly accelerated, dashing directly towards the position of the source of God's power, and the speed was getting faster and faster. Zhou Shi, who was on the side, wanted to stop it, but it was obviously too late. At this moment, he could only watch Zi Ling seize the opportunity and had no choice. At this moment, he can only choose to retreat. It really is the source of God. Very good. Zi Ling put the source of God's power back into the storage ring with great satisfaction, and then glanced at Zhou Xi with a proud look. Zhou Xi's eyes are red with jealousy. Dead mother-in-law. Zhou Xi clenched his fists, and then glanced at the source of God elsewhere. In fact, there are still a lot of God's source power in the ruins of the gods. Although they are all relatively rare, if they can all be collected together, it is actually a huge number. Just as Zhou Xi was thinking about this in his heart, he was about to get a trace of the source of God in front of him. Whizzing. Zi Ling's figure reappeared, directly robbing the source of God's power. Zhou Xi's face darkened again. This is a provocation. Crazy provocation. Zi Ling. You are courting death. Zhou Xi's eyes were blood red, and he couldn't control it too much, and attacked Zi Ling directly. The two started to fight frantically. Just because of you, do you want to fight against this holy emperor? Zi Ling smiled contemptuously, looking extra confident.